Hey there, and welcome to another video from the WetPaddles project. So today is Friday, March the 30th, and I've got myself yet another day off. So today we're going to make a pot cozy. So let's talk about what we need. A pair of scissors, first of all, and or an X-Acto knife, whatever you're most comfortable cutting with. You're going to need some aluminum foil tape, and this is the HVAC certified brand, or HVAC. Next thing we're going to need is Reflectix material. Hello! So this stuff is great for insulating things around the house, and that's in fact what I have been using this for, and that's why it's got tape on it and it's all folded and mucky and whatnot, because I actually had this stuff on the windows in the basement when I first moved into this house in the wintertime, because they weren't very well insulated and there was a lot of work that needed to be done down there. But now of course that work's done. I don't need this for the windows anymore. The other thing you're going to need is the pots that you want to work with. And here I have the Snow Peak 450 titanium cup, and I've also got my MSR Titan kettle that I want to insulate as well. So these are the two pots I'm going to be using mainly when I'm doing my kayaking. This one makes a great coffee cup. If you're just heating something up, a little bit of rice or something like that, works great. You can put that right on top of the transient stove and heat it up, do what you got to do. The whole point of this, when you're rehydrating and reconstituting dehydrated foods, you want to save as much fuel as possible. So it's important not to have your stuff on the stove all the time. It will retain its heat in that Reflectix material for 10-15 minutes, depending on how long or how hot it is in the first place. This stuff can be very expensive, this foil material here. And it usually only comes in rolls like 15 to 25 feet long, and that's an awful lot of product if you're just looking to make a little pot cozy for a cup or a pot. If you got some insulating jobs to do around the house as well, then hey, give her, buy the big roll, which is what I had, and that's why I have this stuff left over. What I'm going to do is start to make the top and the bottom first, and how I'm going to do that is place it down. I'm going to draw and trace out the shape of the bottom of the pot, and then I'm going to cut it out a little bit bigger to allow some space for the pot to slide in and out. So, the MSR titanium kettle, or Titan kettle. It is titanium, just to say that. I'm just going to find a nice clean spot on here that isn't all cut up, and I'm going to trace out my circle. So, we're going to start to cut that out. And we'll fast forward, you really don't need to see this part. So, I've got the cutout for the top side, or the bottom side. At this point it really doesn't matter supremely because I'm going to get a fairly good fit either way. So the rest of this, I'm going to now make another circle for the bottom of the pot, and then what I'm going to do is cut a long strip that's going to be the height of the pot, so I can make the piece that wraps around. And then we're going to put it all together. It's actually quite simple. Okay, we've just skipped ahead a little bit. So what I've got is the side of my pot cozy, I've got the bottom of my, the top of my pot cozy, and the bottom of my pot cozy. And what I'm going to do is just use scraps of material to wrap around here to make a lid that'll fit down over top. So what I'm going to do now is start to put these things together. So basically now is the art form. Now we make it look beautiful. All these little ragged edges get to go away because they're all going to be covered with that tape. And you can make it awesome, you can make it not so awesome. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, hopefully. So we start with the bottom, and the bottom is almost exactly the size of the pot. So we're going to put this one together, and then I'm going to start on my Snow Peak, and then just to show you as I go, because I have a ton of this Reflectix material left over, I'm going to make pot cozies for my large cooking pots as well. So I've got small pieces, I've got a couple large pieces. I'm going to pull the backings off, and what I'll do is I'll just stick them on my little Snow Peak cup here. And I'm going to make a series of tabs that are going to come out. It's going to look like a little sunshine, so that as I'm putting the border on, it's going to hold its shape a lot better and a lot easier, and I won't have to be fidgeting around with it later. You want the pot in there because that's how you know it's going to slide in and out more easily. So I've got the basic shape of the pot cozy ready to go. I've attached the bottom to the sides just very loosely with a couple of small pieces of tape. What I'm running into already though is that it is a little bit tight, and that's okay because I've not closed this gap yet. I can actually make this so that it opens up just a little bit. But even with just 4 pieces of tape, this thing holds its shape quite well. It's fairly strong. I'm just going to make sure that it holds together properly. I just wanted to zoom in a little bit. I know my head's probably cut off, but that's okay for now. So as you can see, we've got the pot cozy. The bottom is completely lined with tape because any exposed sort of edge can pick up moisture, and you don't want your pot cozy getting moldy in a backpack or anything like that. So right around the rim here has been completely covered in that tape. As you use it more and more, it's going to wear down a little bit, and some of those little sharp edges are going to be gone. So what we need to do now is make a lid for this thing, and the best way to do that, I thought, would be to trace out the top of the pot and cut a piece out. But now my thoughts are that we're going to trace this thing onto the Reflectix and make it a little bit bigger than what this is. Obviously this is a bit of a trial and error. The one thing we want to keep in mind is that the lid of the pot does stick up a little bit more than the pot itself, so we're going to need a little bit of clearance between the top and the cozy itself if we want to make a nice good seal. Here we are with the basic form of the lid. We've got the pot cozy here, which the pot fits inside nicely, and we've got the lid which sits on top. So this is a little bit bulky. It is going to look a little bit smoother once I've put the tape all around the outside of it, but as you can see, it does what it's supposed to do. The pot can go inside the pot cozy. That fits nice and tight. The lid goes right on top of that, and I'll just be taking a few moments to finish taping around all the outsides, taping up the bottom part, and we've got a nice solid pot cozy. But I think this is going to be a great success that will keep my food nice and warm for a couple of minutes while I reconstitute my dehydrated food. So here it is, folks, the finished product. Get these scissors out of the way, like a little mushroom cap. The lid comes off nice and easy. When you're ready to eat, you can eat your product from the inside. When it's all empty and ready to go, you can pull the pot out and it's a nice tight fit from within the cozy. You can set the cozy aside and wash the pot. So what I'm going to do is recreate the same situation for my smaller pots and my larger pots. Thank you so much for watching. This has been yet another video from the WetPaddles project.